What's going on is Anton from antondaniels.com. I appreciate you guys for continuing to rock with me. I think that the worst thing about traveling is just the time zone difference. Because of what I do, and I always got to be on point with the same time regardless of where I'm at. And it being 3 hours different, 3 hours behind here. So it's like 4 o'clock in the morning here. And it's 7 o'clock in the morning back home. I keep one phone on whatever it is on the East Coast or the Midwest, and then I keep the other phone on where it is I'm going, and I keep my computer the same way. That way I'm still on the same time zone, but then it's just messed up. So if I want to do anything here, let's say, for example, you want to go out and the event don't start till 9 o'clock, then that means that it's really 12 o'clock back home, and I'm probably not going to get home until like 3 hours later, 3 o'clock in the morning. Anyways, neither here nor there. That's just my little rant. What I really want to kick it with y'all about is, fellas, you got to get your sons. And if you don't have children and you're looking to have children, you gotta make sure that you have children with the right person. This culture that we in, where everybody is just busting it down and having sex with whoever it is that they want to have sex with, and then they thinking that that's acceptable. This is one of the reasons that America is falling off the fucking map, because a lot of y'all sons, and they now have grown up to be whoever it is that they are today. And so when I see all of these women that's complaining on social media, TikTok, Instagram, or whatever platforms about how men are today, is because y'all raised them that way. When I see people complain about how guys are today, it's because you raised them that way. They have been raised in single mother households, and you can sit here and pass blame on whoever it is that you want to pass blame on. But what I'm telling you is that you can say, oh man, it's the men's fault, it's the women's fault. I have my own opinion on whose fault it is, because I believe that, the court system has been leveraged in order to keep y'all as consumers, because they know that you having a broken home is ultimately going to result in them taking out student loans and becoming a part of the prison industrial system and all of this messed up stuff that we see in society. Basically, it's to profit the exact systems that we uphold, and then it also tailors what your mindset is towards how you vote, or what it is that you legislate for, where you live. It basically keeps you trapped. So if you want to look for the single biggest reason why you may have a generational curse, and that could be financially, it could be because you still in the victim Olympics, it could be because you still pushing this blackity black shit and all of that, it's largely because you're letting your sons and your daughters be raised in single parent households, and I don't give a fuck what they tell you. No woman can teach a man how to be a man. Now, you can find a situation where a lot of times, the guy will overcome his circumstances and it'll be something completely different. But often at times, it doesn't happen that way. And even if he overcomes, it doesn't mean that he don't still have issues and problems that largely come with being raised by a single parent household. And we know the data, we know the statistics. It doesn't make sense. In no circumstance, like when you go to college, and maybe it is that mentality. When you go to school or you go to college, when I went back to school, I was trying to evaluate what I was going to do. I knew, because I was a grown man, right? When I went back to college, went back to school, not to school for the first time. When I first went to college, it was directly out of high school. And I quit after one semester. And I said, this don't fucking make sense. I don't even know what I want to do yet. And I'm not about to, oh, it's a little too loud. And I'm not about to pay for trying to figure it out. And so I left a private college. I went to UAD Mercy. I left the private college after one semester. I paid off my tuition, and then I went to work, and that's when I went to work at the steel mill, and I started to run it up. And then when I left the steel mill, that's when I decided, all right, I'm about to go back to school. It was in the middle of a pandemic, but I knew I couldn't fuck up. I couldn't fuck up. I had to figure that shit out. And so I went through and I picked the curriculum that I believed was going to generate me the most revenue. It didn't matter how long it took me. It didn't matter what the efforts were to ultimately get to the place that I needed to be. I needed to pick a curriculum that made sense, because I had a daughter in 2008, and I had to have a foundation. No matter how well my businesses was doing, I needed something to fall back on. I needed the benefits. I needed a lot of things. So I was thinking ahead, and I had to make the best decision, and it was all based off of my efforts, right? So I picked software engineering in the mid-2000s because I knew that it was going to give me the greatest opportunity to earn as much money as I can and change the dynamics and the trajectory of my family's life. How do we not take that same mentality and extend it to everything that we do? If I'm having a kid with somebody, first of all, I gotta figure out whether or not the woman is a great mother. I don't give a fuck about what you look like. Looks is gonna fade, people gonna figure it out. And if you got some money, you can change that shit anyway. It don't even matter. But my biggest concern is not whether or not I'm attracted to you. And don't worry, me loving the person and being with the person, that matters also. But my biggest concern was, is she a great mother? Is this a person that I want to be with for at minimum the next 20 to 25 years because my daughter's well-being depends on it? Cannot have a broken home. Why? Because statistically speaking, it makes sense to think about it from that lens. Statistically speaking, a person that is raised in a single-parent household has less of a chance to be successful. They're gonna make significantly less money. This is data. This isn't even my opinion. They're gonna make less money. They're more likely to go to jail, more likely to need therapy, more likely to, you know what I'm saying, have dependency issues, and look for in a person that they're going to marry or potentially get into a relationship with what they were missing in their mother or their father. And so I didn't leave that shit to chance. It's hard enough knowing that other people are going to have to choose for themselves, and I can't necessarily control their lives, but I can put in them and set the foundation of what it takes to be a great human being and to find the right person and to be a reflection of what I would want you to marry, and then also to put into you all of the resources and not have the daycare fucking raising you because she got to go to work, and then y'all having a custody battle and you leveraging your relationship with the child against the person, and they got to grow up and try to figure out who their father is, and then they get another person and another person and another person. You keep introducing these new people to your kid, and he then lean more into his femininity and his logic if he doesn't become gay because he's so used to being around his mother. And then you create a son husband because the very thing that you were supposed to be looking for in a man, you then teach your son to be that. And then even on top of that, here's the worst part about it. Then they grow up and they say, and we got this thing where we say, well, we supposed to take care of our parents. That's what they do over there in these other countries. No, they do that because they don't have as much opportunity. So when the kid then goes off and be successful, they send money back home. It's a survival mechanism. It's not because that's just what they want to do. You're supposed to grow and then give your kid a better opportunity, not raise them to take care of you like they're a slave. And so all I'm telling you is that the things that I see happening in society today, it goes all the way back to the foundation. We can have as many conversations as we want about relationships and what men and women are supposed to do. And most of y'all is wrong as fuck, and you don't even have the results yourself. But the fact of the matter is this: if you want to fix society, a whole generation of people is basically gonna have to die off. And you're gonna have to have a new generation of people that have a different mindset, that get different results based off of their cultural norms. And our cultural norms right now are fucked up. That's what I'm saying. No matter where you can go anywhere you want to in the United States of America. You can be here in Vegas, you can be over in Miami, you can be in Detroit, you can be in Ohio, you can be in Atlanta, wherever you are, our cultural norms are fucked up. And I wouldn't want to raise my child in this environment. Even when I had a kid, my biggest thing was, man, do I want to raise a kid in this environment? And that was way back in 2008. Imagine what it's like in 2025. Be careful who you had children with. It is, if you love your kid, if you think you're going to adore the person that looks like you, which is your kid, be very careful who you had children with. I love you. I appreciate you. I hope you guys have a great morning. Make sure y'all tap into the Patreon. Link is in the description. I'm going to holler at y'all later. Peace.